across the amber-drenched cliffs of the East African savanna. The first rays of sunlight pierce through the thick, morning mist, casting long, menacing shadows over the rocky outcrops. But long before the valley wakes, an atmosphere of suffocating tension grips the acacia canopy. This is not a peaceful sunrise. This is a calculated, high-stakes psychological warfare zone. Deep within the cavernous safety of a rocky niche, a massive adult male leopard, the ghost of the shadows, an apex predator built of pure muscle and razor-sharp retractable claws, lies fast asleep. His spotted coat rises and falls with heavy, rhythmic breaths, entirely unaware that a storm is brewing just inches above his head. Suddenly, a sharp, piercing alarm bark shatters the silence. Whoa, whoa. Within seconds, the canopy erupts. A massive troop of olive baboons, numbering over 50 strong, converges directly above the sleeping predator's den. There is no fear in their posture, only calculated aggression, raw curiosity, and a primal urge to dominate. A bold adolescent male baboon creeps to the very edge of the rock ledge, peering down at the sleeping giant. With calculated insolence, he reaches down, snaps a heavy acacia branch, and drops it squarely onto the leopard's skull. The sleeping beast explodes into motion. A terrifying, guttural roar echoes through the gorge, revealing dagger-like canines dripping with saliva. But instead of fleeing in terror, the baboons lean further over the ledge, barking furiously, flashing their pink eyelids, and hurling dry earth and stones down at the enraged cat. Why would a troop of primates deliberately provoke the most lethal assassin on the continent? What drives these intelligent monkeys to commit such high-stakes madness at the break of dawn? The answer lies not in mindless chaos, but in a lethal, brilliant game of survival, cognitive mapping, and territorial supremacy that defines the African wilderness. To understand this bizarre morning ritual, one must look at the brutal reality of life in the baboon troop. Every single night is a desperate battle against vulnerability. When the sun dips below the horizon, baboons are forced to climb sheer vertical cliffs or towering trees to escape the nocturnal prowlers of the dark. Yet the cliff faces belong to the leopards. In the dead of night, stealth is the leopard's ultimate weapon. Time and time again, troops of baboons have learned this lesson in blood. A silent shadow scales the rock face, slipping into the sleeping cluster, snatching an infant or a tired juvenile before the troop even registers a sound. The psychological trauma lingers in the collective memory of the troop. Fear breeds paranoia, and paranoia breeds preemptive action. For hours before the sun crests the horizon, the baboons shift restlessly on their cold perches. They have tried ignoring the threat. They have tried moving their sleeping sights deeper into inaccessible gorges. But leopards are master climbers. They adapt, they wait, and they strike when least expected. Passive defense spells certain death for the troop's newest generation. So, the baboons change their strategy from defense to psychological offense. The alpha males test the waters, pacing nervously along the upper ledges, scanning the shadows below for the distinct rosette fur of their mortal enemy. When a sleeping leopard is finally located, fat and sluggish from a heavy nighttime meal, the tension reaches a boiling point. The troop realizes that a sleeping predator is a vulnerable predator. If the leopard is allowed to rest undisturbed, it holds all the cards. But if it is forced awake in broad daylight, blinded by the sudden glare and surrounded by numbers, the power dynamic shifts entirely. Still, the cost of failure is astronomical. One slip, one mistimed leap, and the aggressor becomes a gruesome breakfast. Yet, the collective drive of the troop overrides individual terror. They begin to close the circle. The confrontation reaches its climax as the full weight of the baboon troop descends upon the immediate vicinity of the leopard's den. This is no longer just a few random barks. It is a synchronized, multi-tiered military operation. From the upper branches, dominant adult males coordinate their movements with chilling precision. They climb directly above the ledge where the leopard is cornered, creating an inescapable ceiling of hostile primates. Below, juvenile and female baboons form a perimeter, screaming at the top of their lungs, their barks echoing off the canyon walls to disorient the cat. The leopard, realizing he has lost the element of surprise, makes a tactical move. He stands up, stretching his muscular frame, his emerald green eyes locked onto the closest tormentor. Every muscle in his sleek body coils like a steel spring. He takes one slow, calculated step forward, letting out a low, vibrating growl that rattles the very rocks beneath his paws. In a flash of golden fur and spotted lightning, the leopard lunges upward, aiming to snatch the nearest juvenile baboon out of the air. The forest canopy explodes into a chaotic frenzy of motion. Leaves fly, branches snap, and the air fills with dust and screeching fury. Yet, the baboons are ready for the lunge. Decades of evolutionary arms races have taught them the exact physics of a leopard's attack. The targeted juvenile drops low behind a thick fork of the tree trunk, while three massive adult male baboons flank the leopard from the sides and rear simultaneously. They do not close into hand-to-hand combat. That would mean suicide. Instead, they nip at his flanks, yank at the long hairs of his tail, and bombard him from multiple angles with blinding speed. The leopard is trapped in a frustrating stalemate. He cannot catch the nimble primates in the daylight canopy, and every second he spends fighting off the mob burns precious energy and exposes him to the glaring heat of the rising sun. The tactical initiative has completely inverted. The hunter is now the hunted, forced onto the defensive by a mob of intelligent minds working in unison. The battle now settles into a fascinating, highly coordinated rhythm that oscillates between two distinct perspectives: the high-stakes chaos of the tree canopy and the psychological theater playing out on the rocky ground below. Above, the agile dance of the baboons continues with clockwork precision. The alpha male of the troop takes center stage, positioning himself safely just out of reach on a slender branch that cannot support the heavy leopard's weight. He bounces up and down, shaking the branch furiously, emitting a harsh, barking challenge known as the waha bark, a direct vocalization of dominance and contempt. Every time the leopard lunges, the alpha retreats by mere centimeters, drawing the predator further away from the sleeping sights and deeper into the open expanse of the cliff face. Below, on the shaded forest floor, a different dynamic unfolds. Younger members of the baboon troop, stationed safely on lower boulders, use the distraction to monitor the surrounding terrain. They scan the thickets for other lurking threats, such as hyenas or rival leopard coalitions, ensuring that the troop is not being ambushed from a secondary flank. The entire ecosystem becomes tuned to this rhythmic confrontation. Hornbills and turicos in the nearby trees add their harsh calls to the chorus, amplifying the disturbance and broadcasting the leopard's exact position across the entire valley. The dual-action momentum builds with every passing minute. The leopard is forced to pivot continuously, swiping his heavy paws through empty air as baboons dart in from above, behind, and beside him. Their movements are fluid, intelligent, and relentless. They exploit the one weakness the formidable predator possesses in the daytime: his inability to be everywhere at once against a unified, highly mobile intelligence network. The sun climbs higher, washing the rugged landscape in blinding gold. The leopard's chest heaves heavily, his tongue lolling out as heat stress and sheer exhaustion take their toll. The psychological toll is even greater. Realizing that his cover is blown, his morning rest ruined, and his hunting prospects for the day completely compromised, the great cat makes a pragmatic decision. With a final, disdainful huff, the leopard turns his back on his tormentors. He lowers his sleek body close to the ground and begins a slow, deliberate retreat, melting silently into the deeper, inaccessible crevices of the canyon. He does not run. He preserves his dignity, moving with supreme, fluid grace, but his retreat is absolute. As the spotted coat disappears into the shadows of the gorge, a sudden, triumphant silence washes over the canopy. The barks die down, replaced by low, contented grunts and grooming social interactions among the baboons. The alpha male settles back onto a prominent boulder, his chest puffed out, surveying his domain with an air of absolute authority. The immediate threat has been neutralized, not through physical destruction, but through psychological warfare and collective intelligence. For the baboons, this morning ritual is a vital survival strategy. By actively waking and harassing the leopard, they map his location for the day, disrupt his ambush potential, and instill a healthy, lasting fear of the troop within the predator's mind. They remind the ghost of the shadows that while the night belongs to him, the daylight belongs to the collective. In the grand theater of the African savanna, survival is rarely a simple matter of brute force. It is forged in the delicate, complex dance of minds, territorial boundaries, and mutual respect written into the very fabric of the wild. Here, high above the river valleys and ancient cliffs, the ancient rivalry between primate and predator continues, a timeless testament to the brilliant, unyielding resilience of life on the edge.